Thundermaw. We are currently in game 2. Anthony is up a game. Anthony, with an interesting deck of his own, he's playing a Grixis control list here.
So this is definitely a control, capital C control deck. The creatures are Karanos, 4-Snapcaster Mage, 2 copies of Tassiger, the Golden Fang, Batterskull, Cryptic Command, Damnation, Electrolyze, Jace, Architect of Thought, Lightning Bolt, Mana Leak, Remand, Serum Visions, Shadow of Doubt, Spell Snare, Terminate. This is a classic control deck right here.
It is a bunch of kill spells and counter spells. So looking at the board here, right now we have Reid Duke at 15. He has 3 lands in play, a Liliana on 5 and a Tarmogoyf. Anthony, fetching up his 4th land. A slew of spells in the yard for both players. Tarmogoyf's pretty sizable right now. Anthony, though, fetching up land 5 is going to have access to the Batterskull in his hand, which we do now see.
Now, a problem card for Anthony's build here is definitely Liliana the Veil. Not a lot of ways to get this off the table once it resolves. The plus power, very potent against what this deck is up to.
Yeah, so we see a Germ Token made here. We're back over to Reid. Liliana on 5, has a 4/5 Tarmogoyf. It is big enough to swing past to the Batterskull, but Reid may just kill off the Germ Token anyway. 1 card in the hand of each player, it looks like. So tempting for Reid to plus Liliana as well.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and play his last card, Treetop Village, tick Liliana up to 6. That gets the Lightning Bolt out of Anthony's hand, and Tarmogoyf will be on defense, along with Treetop Village. So he is trying to ultimate the Liliana.
And that was really the one draw that Reid needed to fade there from Anthony's side of the table. If Anthony picks up a removal spell for Tarmogoyf, it starts getting a little bit messy. Your Liliana's under duress, or you're chump blocking with Treetop Village, but now this is a pretty good spot for Reid to be in.
Yes, and gets to untap with a Liliana on 6. Now has the decision between alting Liliana and the greedier play of putting her to 7 to try to keep her and alter.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Duke chooses to go with here. I'm gonna take it safe. Ultimates the Liliana. Anthony did have a chance to could have responded there and bounced his Batterskull. Now it's going to be, looks like the piles are Batterskull, 2 lands, or 4 lands.
Yeah.
And Reid also doing a good job of separating the Germ Token and the Batterskull, so Anthony will not get a 4/4 creature no matter how he picks it.
Very nice. And I like this split a lot. Batterskull against 2 lands looks about right to me. It's a little bit fuzzy, but I don't think you want to split 3 lands and Batterskull against 3 lands. That doesn't make very much sense.
Also note, if Anthony keeps 4 lands here, Reid's put all of Anthony's black sources in the pile with Batterskull. So Anthony would be down a color.
Yep.
Instead, opts to keep his artifact and just 2 lands. Reid swings in for 5 with Tarmogoyf and then plays a Kitchen Finks.
That's actually the first time I've ever seen that play, because I've rarely seen Liliana go ultimate in the face of an opposing Batterskull. That doesn't happen a lot, but
yeah, the splitting of the Germ and the equipment.
Right. Usually when that happens, it means that the Germ tokens died some other way.
Right.
But that's a huge deal. The fact that the Germ is dead no matter what. Always learning new tricks from the Duke.
End step for Anthony, it's going to be, looks like a Steam Vents. And it's going to be a concession. We're going to move on to game 3 here between the 2.
Yeah. Anthony's just done for in that spot, taking way too much damage. Still facing down to Goyf and 2 Treetop Villages.
So Liliana of the Veil doing a ton of work here for Reid. Let's go to Anthony's side before. If he doesn't want this to repeat, what does he have as weapons against the Planeswalker?
He has 2 copies of Counterflux, 2 copies of Engineered Explosives, an Inferno Titan, a Negate, 2 copies of Rakdos Charm, 3 copies of Thoughtseize, 2 copies of Vendilion Click, 2 copies of Threads of Disloyalty. Thoughtseize can get it preemptively. Vendilion Click is pretty good against Liliana in general. It's a flying creature. It can be played at instant speed, so it avoids a lot of EX-style effects. Once you get past that, I think the Threads of Disloyalty and the Engineer Explosives are okay in this matchup. Engineer Explosive is another way for Anthony to potentially get Liliana off the table, but it's not very good against the rest of Reid's deck, so I can see that one going either way.
Over on Reid's side, he does have a lot of weapons here post-board. Does have 3 copies of Fulminator Mage for a control deck, additional copy of Thoughtseize, an additional copy of Duress. as well as just something like Courser of Krufix to help him actually gain value in this matchup, which you'd figure would go somewhat late.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Courser is really for this kind of matchup or it's more for, let's say, matchups like Burn, where you need blockers and life gain, but I could see the Courser potentially coming here as well.
All right, well, if you've been following us in 2015, one thing you should know is that the Star City Games Open Series, if you're following us on twitch.tv, we have brought back Twitch chat. It's been disabled for a while, but now you too can join the conversation. Follow us on twitch.tv/SCGLive and join the conversation. For free chat, you have slow-mo chat, which means you get to type any message in a certain time window, but we also have subscriber mode only.
And subscriber mode for $4.99 a month gives you access to unlimited posting in the chat. The slow-mo chat is once every 2 minutes. And access to custom emoticons and badges, including me and you, Cedric Phillips, out in Mexico this weekend, hanging out for his brother's wedding. Our penguin and our slow play turtle, plus more coming down the pipeline.
Find out about all these custom emoticons. Remember, this is at twitch.tv/SCGLive.
Very interesting to see Reid here sticking with Jund. Reid has played Jund in a ton of different formats, Modern and Legacy. Abzan definitely the 3-color mid-range deck of choice, but Thundermaw Hellkite does have a habit of showing up anytime Lingering Souls is a big part of the format.
Yeah. So we're underway game 3. Anthony on a 6-card hand. He's on the play. So down 2 in this matchup could be problematic. We're going to see what he did keep. Reid with a Thoughtseize. Anthony the hand has 3 more lands, a Cryptic Command, and a Tassiger.
Yeah, Tassiger just a multi-format all-star at this point, showing up in our Legacy, Modern, and Standard Opens.
I mean, any card that discounts itself all the way down to 1 mana, you have to figure can be a player in an Eternal format.
Yep. I mean, people have been looking at playing Hooting Mandrills in decks, so I imagine Tassiger is good enough to play.
And Reid with a hand that's just brutal against mulligans. Second Thoughtseize will go ahead and take care of what I imagine is Cryptic Command.
A big problem for a deck like Grixis compared to Azorius builds of control decks is you have no copies of Sphinx's Revelation. So your big draws are basically just Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage, and your sweepers in certain spots. But you have no card with an unlimited ceiling.
Yeah.
And these decks aren't playing anything like Cruel Ultimatum, so much harder to come back from these sort of spots.
Well, Anthony did draw a copy of Batterskull there, which could be good. Reid goes ahead and does not. He misses his 3rd land, plays Dark Confidant. That will eat the Lightning Bolt in Anthony's hand. And there actually is a window here for Anthony. Draws Serum Visions.
I mean, Mana Leak's a huge draw here if he can get to land number 5. Another Cryptic Command, this is good stuff.
Yes, sees the Lightning Bolt Cryptic Command on top. He has land 4. He has, right now his hand is Mana Leak, Batterskull, and land 4. See whether he wants to just go straight for land 5 or whether he's going to keep the Cryptic. Looks like he may keep both Cryptic and Lightning Bolt. And that's going to be the play. I was a little surprised to see him keep the Lightning Bolt, but I guess with Reid stuck on 2, most of the relevant cards, Lightning Bolt's a pretty good card right now.
Well, keep in mind that Reid cast the Dark Confidant into a known Lightning Bolt. So if you're in Anthony's spot, you feel like there's a good chance he's trying to set up another copy of Dark Confidant.
That's exactly what happened. Anthony spending the Mana Leak on the 2nd Confidant, draws Cryptic Command for the turn. Reid just passes back on 3 lands. Anthony as well.
Also another reason to keep Lightning Bolt here, Reid with a Treetop Village. So we know there's at least one thing somewhere down the line where it'll come up.
And both players here just trading land drops, or trading card draws rather. Finally, Anthony's gonna make a move. It's gonna be an end-step Vendilion Click. He wants to see what he's working against, and us as well. It is 2 Maelstrom Pulses, 2 Terminates, 2 Thundermaw Hellkites, and a Huntmaster of the Fells. The lack of red mana is really getting tough for Reid right now.
Surprising, because it was the same story in game 2 that we hopped into. It looked like a Golgari deck, but Reid with a bunch of red cards in his deck, obviously, and just hasn't found red mana yet.
Yeah, the only card he can cast are these 2 Maelstrom Pulses. Fortunately, that's pretty relevant against the Batterskull that's in Anthony's hand.
And with 2 copies of Maelstrom Pulse here, I think Anthony might just say keep it.
If there was only 1 copy, you'd imagine he'd get rid of it to clear the way for Batterskull?
I think so. I don't mind taking a Maelstrom Pulse here, but I like Anthony's play here. Reid's turn next turn is very likely to just be, I'll try to Maelstrom Pulse your Vendilion Click. You get to eat that up with your Cryptic Command.
Yeah, swings in for 3, puts Reid down to 11, passes the turn. Reid draws Tasigur here. Actually something he can cast.
Yep.
But he'll go with, just as you said, Maelstrom Pulse for the Vendilion Click, and Cryptic Command will eat the turn. Counter and draw. Electrolyze the draw for Anthony. He may just have enough damage here to get this one finished.
Yeah. I was playing a pickup game with Matt Sperling where he said counter draw card every time he blocks someone's shot. Which I really like a lot.
Vendilion Click swings, puts Reid down to 8. 5 points of burn in Anthony's hand. He's not going to need much more. Just one more hit should do it.
I actually like casting the Batter Skull here a lot because if Reid untaps and plays Maelstrom Pulse,
You have him dead.
Creeping Tar Pit, your bolts, you're good to go. Put him to the test.
And Reid has to, right? I mean, you have to take this opportunity to kill the Batter Skull.
Yeah. And if Reid doesn't kill the Batter Skull, that's probably fine too.
Heads up play here by Anthony Laflamme. And Reid, still having not found a land 4 and having not found a red mana, is looking to be too far behind at this point. He does have a 1-mana Tasigur available. If he had a red mana, then he could go Tasigur Terminate.
Exactly. He could have a good turn with a 4th land or a red source of mana, but
Takes the turn to Pulse, and that should be lights out.
yeah. Reid never got into a spot where he was casting 2 spells a turn, and it's very hard to beat the card Cryptic Command if you're not casting 2 spells a turn.
Anthony to show he has 8 points of damage. And that will be it. Anthony Laflamme moving to 4-0, defeats Reid Duke in 3.
Very impressive performance for this Grixis control deck. Again, not a deck that we see a lot of in modern tournaments, but certainly just, you go up and down that deck list, it's nothing but good Magic cards. There's nothing,
absolutely.
It's not struggling to find good Magic cards to play.